Hey guys, what's up? I got another battle for you here today, and I have decided to bring my Sun team. Actually, this is the same Sun team that I used before in a video I posted before. This is just a different battle that I guess I forgot that I had, I never got around to. So, it's the same team. We got the Torkoal setting up the Sun, then we have the Shifty with Chlorophyll, the Guts Machamp, and then Cradily. And then my opponent there has got a pretty decent looking team. They got the Cinderace, which is a tough Pokemon, but everything else looks like a pretty good matchup for us, so let's jump right in. So, I'm going to be leading off with the Torkoal, like usual, set up that Sun, and they're going to be leading off with the Nidoqueen, which I assume is to set up rocks. But, just in case they try to go for something else, I need my Torkoal for later in the match to set up Sun again, so I'm going to swap out, just in case they do try to hit me, instead of set up the Stealth Rocks. But instead of the Stealth Rocks, my opponent is actually going to be setting up the Toxic Spikes here, which is really cool. I completely forgot that these Nidoqueens got Toxic Spikes. But now I'm going to set up rocks of my own, just so that we can break any focus sashes, as they actually go for rocks too. So they have both Toxic Spikes and rocks set up on the field, which kind of sucks, but we can work around it. I have the Colossal, and I do have Rapid Spin on that Colossal, which I keep forgetting what I have. But it's random, but it's great. It's really useful in scenarios like this. But after we get all those hazards up, my opponent goes for the Superpower, which is going to do just below half, which is great. Cradily can take another one of those, as it dishes out a Earth Power, which does pretty decent damage there. I have no reason to swap out. After the leftovers, Cradily's looking like it's in a pretty good spot. So I'm going to go just attack again, but this time I'm going to go for the Giga Drain, just to gain a little bit of health back, and then go for the Earth Power on the second attack there, if the Nidoqueen does stay in. And I can take another Superpower, since this Nidoqueen is -1 in attack after that first Superpower, so Cradily takes that really well. After those drops, Cradily goes for the Giga Drain, and it's going to get us a good chunk of health back actually. So after a recover, Cradily could be at full health, especially after the leftovers right here, it's going to be way above half. So now we're just going to click Earth Power and hopefully take out this Nidoqueen. I'm not sure why he's staying in. I guess he doesn't really need the Nidoqueen anymore. He set up all the hazards. It's not like Cradily dishes out crazy damage either, so he could probably swap in pretty safely, but he's just going to decide to sack off the Nidoqueen here, and that Earth Power is going to knock it out. So Cradily getting a KO there in a match, that's a pretty rare sight. So on a free switch, my opponent is going to be able to send out the Lucario here, and I know sometimes these Lucarios are usually special attackers, and Cradily's my special defensive wall, but I don't think it can live too many more hits. So I'm going to swap in Torkoal first, just so I can get rid of all the hazards on the field and get the Rapid Spin up, and then I can swap in something else, take out the Lucario. But, as you'll see here, this Aura Sphere does way too much damage, especially after the Poison and the Stealth Rock. So, Torkoal's gonna go down. There goes my Sunsetter, which really sucks. And there goes a Rapid Spin option, which really sucks. On the free switch in here, I was looking through my team, and I actually realized, I mentioned this earlier in the battle, I have the Colossal with the Rapid Spin. I actually have 2 Rapid Spin Pokemon on this team, which is super random. I completely did not plan that. So now I'm gonna send out the Colossal. This is specially defensive, a little bit, and it has max HP. So I'm hoping I can live at least one hit and get rid of the hazards. Here comes the Aura Sphere, and Colossal's gonna live on 41 HP. It's actually a critical hit. We do get the Rapid Spin off here. We do get rid of the hazards, and we actually get the +1 in speed. And this is right here the turning point of the match for us. We get a little bit of momentum off of this Rapid Spin. We do end up living the poison damage, and after a +1 in speed, I think we might be able to outspeed this Lucario depending on how it's set up. So I'm going to go for the Fire Blast, and we actually do outspeed, catch the Lucario off guard, and take it out in the one shot. We do end up dying to poison here, but it was definitely worth it. The Rapid Spin is huge, and taking out the Lucario is huge. So now we have the empty battlefield, and I decided to lead off with my Machamp, as my opponent is going to be leading off with the Pikachu. This is the Flame Orb Machamp, and even though I don't have the burn off the Flame Orb until the next turn, I'm just going to go for the Facade anyway. It'll hit pretty hard. My opponent goes for the Iron Tail, and Machamp lives that really well. The Facade is going to be hitting, and it's actually going to knock out the Pikachu in one shot, so we didn't even need the double power with the burn and the guts, but we are going to have it now. My opponent's next Pokemon is going to be the Altaria, which actually has the Cloud 9 ability, so any weather that would have been on the field would have been gone. So I guess it's good that we haven't been relying on the sun too much, because there wouldn't be sun anyway. But now that Altaria is in, I don't want to leave my Machamp to take an Air Slash or a Brave Bird, so we are going to be swapping out here into the Salt-Vested Copperajah. So here comes the Hurricane. It's going to spin me, throw me in the air. It's going to do no damage, but I'm going to get confused, which really sucks. But I mean, if you spin around that fast, that high, you'll probably get confused too. But while looking through my moveset, I realized I can't do too much to this Altaria, and actually, this Copperajah, using the Max Flare, if I Dynamax it, is the only way I can get the Sun up again. So I'm going to be saving my Copperajah for later. I'm going to be switching to Cradily to take up these special attacks, and the Heat Wave is actually going to get soaked up really well. And now Cradily can just go for recovers and stall out this Altaria and see what my opponent wants to do next. So after this Hurricane, and after the recover, Cradily's sitting in a pretty good spot, but instead of my opponent continuing to attack, they're actually going to go for the Cotton Guard here on this next turn, which is kind of scary. The Colossal and the Shiftry are only my special attackers, and the Colossal's down obviously. And I don't want to send out the Shiftry unless I have the Sun up, which I don't want to do, or I can't do, until the Copperajah gets up the Sun with the Max Flare. So I'm actually going to decide to switch out on this Altaria and swap in my Machamp. On the switch up, my opponent is going to go for the Dazzling Gleam, which kind of sucks because it'll do super effective damage, but it's better than the Hurricane, I guess. Either way, the Machamp lives it pretty well. He does have 4 arms and a 6-pack on his back, so he don't mind getting hit by no Gleam. But I'm going to have Machamp go for the Facade. We do outspeed, and this Facade's actually going to knock out the Altaria in one shot. See you later, Tracy. It was a crit. Don't know if that crit mattered, but either way, we take those. And Machamp actually still has a few attacks left in him before the burn's going to take him out. But this is where all of our momentum gets switched back around again. And I feel like of the battles I've posted where we've had good momentum, that momentum has stopped immediately when we encounter a Cinderace. And actually, now that I think about it, I think every time we've encountered a Cinderace, it's been a Gigantamax Cinderace, which doesn't make things any easier. So my opponent, after getting all big, is going to fire a G-Max Fireball towards us, and that's easily going to be taking out the Machamp. And now we're put into a really tough spot because 2 of my 3 remaining Pokemon are completely allergic to fire. They do not like it at all. And the other Pokemon should be the Cradily, so it can't deal any damage back to the Cinderace. But we're going to go ahead on the switch and send that Cradily just so we can stall out some of these Dynamax turns. And we do actually live one of these G-Max Fireballs, so Cradily is going to be able to stall out one of these turns and be taken out by the last turn of the G-Max, which is great. That gives me at least some fighting chance. And then the Earth Power is going to get some chip damage off on the Cinderace, which is also a plus. So here comes the last G-Max Fireball, and there goes our Cradily into the Shadow Realm. So our last hope here is our last 2 Pokemon, the Copperajah and the Shiftry. And the plan to win, what we're going to have to do here, is send out the Copperajah, hopefully live one hit while on Dynamax, so we can set up the Sun. When the Sun is set up, we'll have our Shiftry be able to outspeed everything left on his team, and hopefully do enough damage to take them out. This Copperajah is a max HP, max attack, so I'm hoping I have just enough HP. This is going to be also a regular Copperajah, not a Gigantamax, just because I don't really need Gigantamax Pokemon. But that's besides the point. Here comes the Pyro Ball. It's going to be super effective, and we're going to be living on 57 HP, so we just clutch it out. We do get burned, but that's okay. We don't mind the burn. This is just enough to get off the Max Flare and get up the Sun for the next 5 turns. We do get some damage also on this Cinderace, which isn't too much damage, but they've been healing themselves up slowly with the Shell Bell, which kind of sucks, but that's okay. We got the most important part done, and now we can just let the Copperajah die here to a Blaze Kick and switch in the Shiftry with 4 turns left of Sun. Copperajah is going to combust into flames and then shrink back down to normal size, which I always think is a hilarious animation, but now we're able to get in the Shiftry. This Shiftry has a Focus Sash, and I don't know how much damage I'm going to be doing, so I'm actually going to go for 1 Nasty Plot here, just so we can get that +2 special attack, and then we'll for sure be able to outspeed everything he's got, and hopefully we'll be able to one-shot these last 2 Pokemon. He's going to go for the Power Ball. It is going to land, and it is going to take us down to 1 HP to our Focus Sash. And now, all we have to do is mash the A button on Dark Pulse. and pray that it is enough damage to take out these last two Pokemon. So we're going to outspeed here, we're going to go for the Dark Pulse, and it's actually going to do enough damage to take out Cindy the Cinderace. And that's going to be a crit. I don't think that crit mattered, but if it did, we take those. That's great. Their last Pokemon, it's going to be the Leafeon, which can be pretty bulky sometimes, but we still outspeed. I don't think it's a Chlorophyll Leafeon. We knock it out in one shot, and that is going to be the match, guys. That's a really cool, clutch, late game little sweep. Momentum between both of us really shifted a couple times, which is really cool to see. But what really won us the match was the Rapid Spin. If we don't get that Rapid Spin off, the Shifter doesn't have the Focus Sash, and then we can't get the nasty plots and the damage going. So it's always good to have Rapid Spinners, guys. But thanks for watching. I really appreciate the views, and I'll catch you in the next one.